Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Winter session of Parliament begins. Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021 passed in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is ready to discuss each and every issue in Parliament. Both houses of Parliament adjourned till 2 p.m. Union Health Ministry revises guidelines for international arrivals amid concerns on new COVID-19 variant Omicron. Prime Minister urges all to stay alert in view of the new variant of COVID-19. Over 122 crore 41 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.34%. Government is taking several steps to control and minimize air pollution in the country, says Environment and Forest Minister Bhupendra Yadav in Parliament. Schools reopen in Delhi for all classes from today. Winter session of Bihar State Legislature begins. And in the Kanpur cricket test, New Zealand were 122 for 3 on the fifth and last day when reports last came in. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. Please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. The Lok Sabha has passed the Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021 amid ruckus by the opposition in the House. When Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar introduced the bill seeking the repeal of the 3 farm laws, opposition members raised slogans seeking a discussion before the repeal. Speaker Om Birla said a discussion would be possible if the House is in order. However, as noisy scenes continued, the House passed the Farm Laws Repeal Bill. The Speaker then adjourned the House till 2 p.m. Earlier, when the House met for the first day of the winter session of Parliament, 2 newly elected members representing Mandi constituency in Himachal Pradesh and Khandwa in Madhya Pradesh took oath. The Speaker then read out the obituary references for the 8 members, including former Union Ministers Kalyan Singh and Oscar Fernandez, who passed away recently. During the question hour, opposition members trooped into the well of the House, demanding uniform minimum support price structure across the country, among other issues. Members showing placards shouted slogans in the well. In the din, the Speaker adjourned the House till noon. Minister of State for Labour and Employment Rameshwar Teli today said that his ministry has developed e-Shram portal, which is a national database of the unorganized workers seeded with Aadhaar. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, Mr. Teli said the portal has been launched on the 26th of August this year. He informed the House that as on 23rd November, 8.97 crore unorganized workers have been registered on the e-Shram portal. He said all eligible registered unorganized workers will get the benefit of an accidental insurance cover of 2 lakh rupees for a year, free of cost, through Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana PMSBY. The Minister informed that one of the key objectives of the portal is to deliver the benefits of social security schemes of central and state governments through the e-Shram portal.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman informed the Lok Sabha that the government has taken several supply-side measures to curb the inflationary pressures. Replying to a starred question, she said that the centre has reduced central excise duty on petrol and diesel by 5 and 10 rupees respectively, to which the many state governments have responded by reducing value-added tax to further sober petrol and diesel prices. She also said India has also agreed to release 5 million barrels of crude oil from its strategic petroleum reserves in parallel and in consultation with other major global energy consumers. Environment and Forest Minister Bhupendra Yadav today informed the Lok Sabha that the government is taking several steps to control and minimize air pollution in the country. He said the government has enacted the Commission for Air Quality Management in the National Capital Region and Adjoining Areas Act 2021 for resolution of problems related to air quality in the NCR and adjoining areas. Replying to questions in the House, Mr. Yadav said the government, through an Act of Parliament, has enacted Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, Environment Protection Act 1986 for prevention, control and protection of environment. The minister said the government has launched National Clean Air Programme NACP as a national level strategy to reduce air pollution levels across the country. He said city-specific clean air action plans have been prepared and rolled out for implementation in 132 non-attainment and million-plus cities. Mr. Yadav said over 375 crore rupees have been sanctioned to non-attainment cities under NACP for initiating actions.
Tourism Minister G. Kishan Reddy today said the Statue of Unity has emerged as an important tourist destination of the country, both for domestic as well as international tourists. He, however, said the Tourism Ministry has not given any directions to other state governments to take similar initiatives. Replying to supplementaries in the Lok Sabha, Mr. Reddy said the ministry, as part of its ongoing schemes of Swadesh Darshan and Pilgrimage, Rejuvenation and Spiritual Heritage Augmentation Drive Prashad, provides financial assistance to various state governments to boost tourism. News just in. Lok Sabha has been adjourned for the day. When the Lok Sabha met post-lunch, opposition members trooped into the well of the House and started sloganeering. The chair adjourned the House. Union Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi has said that production of raw coal in the country has been affected by the heavy rain during the southwest monsoon. In a written answer in the Rajya Sabha, he said the floods in the catchment areas caused a marginal dip in the coal production of the country's largest domestic coal suppliers. He added that coal loading and transportation has also been affected by the rainfall during the season.
The Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 2 p.m. after the opposition created ruckus in the House over farmers and other issues. When the Rajya Sabha met after the first adjournment, the Rajya Sabha chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu tried to run the question hour, but opposition members from Congress, TMC and TRS trooped to the well, raising slogans. Mr. Naidu appealed to the members to allow the House to take up the questions listed, as it is the first day of the winter session of Parliament. But the opposition members did not pay heed to the appeal and continued with sloganeering. The chairman also rejected the adjournment notices given by the Congress member Mallikarjun Kharge and others on different issues. Amid the din, the chair had to adjourn the House till 2 p.m. Before the start of the question hour, Mr. Naidu appealed to members to make best of all the 19 sittings of the winter session. He also cautioned not to lower their guards in the fight against COVID-19 in view of the new variants. The chairman also complimented the efforts of the central government, state governments and all the stakeholders for effective vaccination against COVID-19. Earlier, the Rajya Sabha was adjourned for an hour till 12:20 p.m. as mark of respect to the sitting member Oscar Fernandez, who passed away recently. The House also paid tributes to former members who passed away recently. They are K.B. Shanappa, Dr. Chandan Mitra, Hari Singh Nalwa, Monica Das and Abani Roy. After making the obituary references, the Rajya Sabha chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu adjourned the House for an hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today urged that all should stay alert in view of the new variant of COVID-19. Speaking to reporters just before the start of the winter session of the Parliament, Mr. Modi said the government is now moving ahead towards 150 crore vaccine doses.
अब हम 150 करोड़ की तरफ तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। नए वेरिएंट की खबरें भी हमें और सतर्क करती हैं और सजग करती हैं। मैं संसद के सभी साथियों को भी सतर्क रहने के लिए प्रार्थना करता हूं। आप सभी साथियों को भी सतर्क रहने के लिए प्रार्थना करता हूं, क्योंकि आप सबका उत्तम स्वास्थ्य, देशवासियों का उत्तम स्वास्थ्य ऐसी संकट की घड़ी में हमारी प्राथमिकता है।
The Prime Minister said the government is ready to discuss on each and every issue in the Parliament. He said the citizens of the country want a productive session.
संसद में सवाल भी हो, संसद में शांति भी हो। हम चाहते हैं संसद में सरकार के खिलाफ, सरकार की नीतियों के खिलाफ जितनी आवाज प्रखर होनी चाहिए हो, लेकिन संसद की गरिमा, स्पीकर की गरिमा, चेयर की गरिमा, इन सब के विषय में हम वो आचरण करें जो आने वाले दिनों में देश की युवा पीढ़ी को काम आए.
More than 122 crore 41 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 42 lakh 4,000 doses were administered yesterday. India reported over 8,000 new cases during the last 24 hours. India's active caseload stands at 1 lakh 3,859. The ministry said the recovery rate is currently at 98.34% and it is the highest since March last year. Over 9,000 people recovered in the last 24 hours and total recoveries touched 3 crore 40 lakh 8,183. The government has said that over 137 crore vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far through the centre's free of cost channel and through direct state procurement category. The Health Ministry said more than 24 crore 61 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and UTs to be administered.
In Madhya Pradesh, in view of concerns over the Omicron variant of coronavirus, the state government withdrew the earlier announced relaxations for schools and decided that they will continue to hold online classes and run physical classes with 50% strength of students only after a consent from their parents. More from our correspondent.
The state government has decided that all the people who arrived in the state from international destinations in the past 1 month will have to undergo COVID-19 test. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, while reviewing COVID situation, said that decisions have been taken as a precautionary measure. 58,000 to 60,000 tests for COVID-19 are being conducted every day, while 62.5% of the eligible people have received the COVID-19 vaccine. Mega vaccination campaign will also be held on December 1st. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In view of reporting of the new variant of COVID-19 named Omicron, Union Health Ministry has revised the guidelines for international arrivals in India to be effective from 1st of December. The ministry has mandated submitting 14 days travel details, uploading negative RT-PCR test report on Air Suvidha portal before the journey. The RT-PCR test should have been conducted within 72 hours prior to undertaking the journey. As per the Health Ministry's guidelines, travellers from countries at risk will need to take COVID test post-arrival and wait for results at the airport. If tested negative, they will follow home quarantine for 7 days, retest on 8th day, and if negative, further self-monitor for next 7 days. Travellers from countries excluding those countries at risk will be allowed to leave the airport and shall self-monitor health for 14 days. A subsection 5% of total flight passengers shall undergo post-arrival testing at random at the airport on arrival. The cost of the testing of such traveller will be borne by the Ministry of Civil Aviation.
Karnataka Health and Medical Education Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar has said that Omicron virus variant in the passenger who arrived from South Africa to Bengaluru is yet to be confirmed. Speaking to media persons in Bengaluru today, the minister said the 63-year-old man is tested and by this evening it will be confirmed whether he carries the Omicron variant. Dr. Sudhakar said that according to the information passed on to him personally by the doctors in South Africa, the new Omicron variant is not as virulent as the Delta variant. People with this new type of virus have nausea, giddiness, vomiting sensation and high pulse rate. He called upon people to get their second dose of vaccine at the earliest. Nearly 45 lakh people are yet to take the second dose in the state. There is 90% coverage of the first dose, but only 57% of the eligible population has taken the second dose. In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, President, Public Health Foundation of India, Professor K. Srinath Reddy will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on toll-free number 1800115767 and on telephone number 011-233-14444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.in and YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
US-based biotech company Moderna has said that the new Omicron coronavirus variant may elude current vaccines, and if so, a reformulated shot could be available early in the new year. In a TV show, Moderna Chief Medical Officer Paul Burton said that at first the ability of the current vaccine to provide protection against new Omicron coronavirus should be judged and then decide if a brand new vaccine is needed that will be available in early 2022. The remarkable thing about the mRNA vaccines, the Moderna platform, is that they can move very fast, he said. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Winter session of Parliament begins. Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021 passed in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is ready to discuss each and every issue in the Parliament. Lok Sabha adjourned for the day and Rajya Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. Union Health Ministry revises guidelines for international arrivals amid concerns on new COVID-19 variant Omicron. Prime Minister urges all to stay alert in view of the new variant of COVID-19. Over 122 crore 41 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.34%. Government is taking several steps to control and minimize air pollution in the country, says Environment and Forest Minister Bhupendra Yadav in Parliament. Schools reopen in Delhi for all classes from today. Winter session of Bihar State Legislature begins. And in the Kanpur cricket test, New Zealand were 125 for 4 at tea on day 5. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. The winter session of the Bihar State Legislature began today. The House adjourned till 11 a.m. tomorrow after paying tributes to those leaders who died during the intersession period. The 5-day session will be held till the 3rd of next month. Deputy Chief Minister Tarkishore Prasad, who holds the finance portfolio, presented the second supplementary budget for the current financial year in the Assembly today. The session is likely to be stormy as the opposition parties have decided to raise various issues. In Bihar, polling for the 9th phase of Panchayat elections in the state is underway amidst tight security. Polling, which began at 7 a.m., will continue till 5 p.m. Polling is being held in 53 blocks spread over 35 districts, including Patna, Saran, Munger and Darbhanga today. Counting of votes will take place on the 1st and 2nd of December.
Schools and other educational institutions in the national capital Delhi have opened from today. The institutions in the city have been closed since 13th of November of this month due to hazardous air quality levels. On 17th of this month, the Delhi government had extended the suspension of in-person classes till further orders. Air quality in the city is still in severe category. According to Central Pollution Control Board, air quality index in Delhi was recorded at 407. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter @AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, Jago Grahak Jago.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
In today's episode, we commemorate the life of freedom fighter and eminent social worker, Amrit Lal Vithaldas Thakkar, who was born on the 29th of November 1869, popularly known as Thakkar Bapa. He dedicated over 35 years working for the so-called lower castes and tribes across many states of India.
Bapa was born in Bhavnagar, Gujarat and worked as an engineer in Porbandar, Uganda, Bombay municipality, as also the chief engineer of the erstwhile Sangli state. While working in Bombay suburb of Kurla, he was horrified by the miserable living conditions of the so-called lower caste.
With help from Ramaji Shinde, a member of the Depressed Classes Mission, he established a school in Kurla for the children of sweepers. In 1914, he joined the Servants of India Society and was introduced to Mahatma Gandhi by Gopal Krishna Gokhale, with whom he developed a close relationship.
Bapa visited Odisha in 1920 and conducted famine relief work. In 1923, he founded the Bhil Seva Mandal to strive for tribal upliftment. He was president of the Bhavnagar State Subjects Conference in 1926, and in 1928, he presided over the Kathiawar States People Conference.
During the civil disobedience movement of 1930, Thakkar Bapa was arrested and sentenced to 6 months' prison with hard labor, but he was released after 40 days.
He was the secretary of the Harijan Sevak Sangh and founded the Gond Sevak Sangh in 1944. This organization was later renamed Vanavasi Seva Mandal. He was elected the chairman of a subcommittee of the Constituent Assembly. He authored the book Tribes of India in 1950.
Thakkar Bapa firmly believed in the power of universal compulsory education and also advocated the abolition of untouchability. He travelled to many parts of India carrying these missions everywhere. On his devotion, Mahatma Gandhi had once remarked that his ambition was to equal Thakkar Bapa's record of selfless service.
He passed away on the 20th of January 1951 at the age of 81. India Post released a stamp in his honor in 1969. We salute this great Indian patriot who dedicated his life in the service of the downtrodden.
We also remember freedom fighter, philosopher and reformer Ram Singh Kukka, who was martyred on the 29th of November 1885. Founder of the Kukka movement, he was the first Indian to use non-cooperation and boycott of British merchandise and services as a political weapon.
Ram Singh was born in Bhaini, Punjab. As a young man, he became a disciple of Balak Singh, the founder of the austere Namdhari movement. Before his death, Balak Singh appointed Ram Singh as the leader of the Namdharis. He was a part of the army of the great Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
On the death of Ranjit Singh, his army and domain fell apart, and Ram Singh was determined to help Sikhs regain their self-respect. He introduced new practices among the Namdharis, who came to be called Kukkas, from the Punjabi kuk, scream or cry, because of the shrieks they emitted after the frenzied chanting of hymns.
The Kukka or the Namdhari movement picked up momentum with time, and the British reacted violently, killing many Kukka fighters. Ram Singh was promptly deported to Rangoon and later on to the Andamans under life imprisonment. He passed away on November 29th 1885.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास। तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
In today's episode of Dharohar, we will bring you the voice of independence activist Hansa Mehta in our series. In an unprecedented step, All India Radio has opened up its studios for the voices that represent young India starting from the 28th of this month. For the next 52 weeks, AIR stations across India will give opportunity to youngsters from local colleges and universities to take part in AIR programming, allowing them to discuss and curate youth-centric shows. These shows would encourage the youth to speak about the achievements of the country during the last 75 years of independence and where they expect the country to reach in various fields. This way, the youth can air their big dreams and define the future of India. This talent hunt show, #AIRNext, will be broadcast in all major Indian languages and dialects.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla today addressed the probationary officers of the Indian Railway Service of Mechanical Engineers, Indian Railway Service of Electrical Engineers and Indian Railway Personnel Service of the 2018 and 2019 batches at the Parliament House complex. Mr. Birla underlined the vital role played by the Indian Railways in upholding the unity and integrity of the nation. He added that the Indian Railways have connected every part of the country and is a microcosm of the nation's inherent unity in diversity. In the Kanpur Cricket Test, New Zealand were 125 for the loss of 4 wickets at tea on day 5. Chasing the victory target of 284 runs, the visitors fared well in the first session as Latham and William Somerville added 76 runs for the second wicket. However, Somerville was dismissed by Umesh Yadav for 2 on the first ball of the second session. Then Tom Latham was bowled by Ravichandran Ashwin after scoring 52 runs. It was Ashwin's 418th scalp in 10th Test wicket. Ross Taylor was LBW to Ravindra Jadeja for 2. Skipper Kane Williamson is batting with 24 runs. Earlier partnership between Shreyas Iyer and Riddhiman Saha helped India to take hold of the match yesterday at Green Park Stadium.
The Parliament has passed the Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021 with the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha approving it today on the first day of the winter session. The bill seeking to withdraw the 3 farm laws was moved in Lok Sabha by Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar amid ruckus by opposition in the House. The bill was passed without discussion. As Speaker Om Birla said, a debate is not possible. Later, the bill was also introduced in the upper house by Minister Narendra Singh Tomar in the post-lunch session, which was passed amidst noisy scenes. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Winter session of Parliament begins. Both houses of Parliament pass the Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government ready to discuss each and every issue in Parliament. Lok Sabha adjourned for the day, Rajya Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. Union Health Minister revises guidelines for international arrivals amid concerns on new COVID-19 variant Omicron. Prime Minister urges all to stay alert in view of the new variant of COVID-19. Over 122 crore 41 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate at 98.34%. Government taking several steps to control and minimize air pollution in the country, says Environment and Forest Minister Bhupendra Yadav in Parliament. Schools reopen in Delhi for all classes from today. Winter session of Bihar State Legislature begins. And in the Kanpur Cricket Test, New Zealand were 125 for 4 at tea on day 5. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.